I continue my passage through Barcelona as part of my crossing Eurasia route. From La Rambla, I enter the old city through Plaça Reial, a gateway into the historical core. The urban fabric changes immediately, narrowing into medieval corridors shaped long before the modern expansion of Barcelona. I move deeper into the historical core. Small plazas and religious buildings form nodal points within this structure. Santa Maria del Pi and the small square around it are part of this network. The name of the church refers to a pine tree, Pi, which still stands in front of the facade. The medieval streets reflect an older history of Barcelona. Long before the modern city, Barcelona developed as a coastal settlement linked to the Mediterranean. Its position encouraged trade, navigation, and cultural exchange, connecting Catalonia to wider networks across the basin. I reach Plaça de Sant Felip Neri, a small square within the Gothic fabric of the city. Its stone facades bear the scars of aerial bombing in January 1938, during the Spanish Civil War, when dozens of civilians, many of them children, were killed here. Urban history remains visible in the surface of the place. Barcelona functioned for centuries as a center of trade and guilds linked to the Mediterranean. These systems shaped the identity of the city and of Catalonia more broadly. I move toward Plaça de Sant Jaume, the civic and administrative center of Barcelona, where governance and history converge within the old city. Beyond it, the streets narrow again, framed by arches and enclosed facades. Movement opens into the square before the cathedral, a major historical node of the city. Seen only from the exterior, the cathedral marks the religious layer of Barcelona and its continuity as an urban center. The History Museum of Barcelona appears within the historical core. Rather than an isolated institution, this museum functions as a system for interpreting the city's layers and periods. I approach the entrance and move inside. Inside, the focus shifts from the streets to time. The exhibits outline the systems that shaped Barcelona and Catalonia: political, economic, and cultural transformations linked to the Mediterranean. After a brief passage, I exit onto a terrace above the old city, where the historical fabric becomes visible again. Below, the museum reveals the Roman layer of Barcelona, early structures that formed the city within a Mediterranean network of trade and administration. Seen from beneath, the city becomes a sequence of transformations rather than a single moment in time. The museum shifts from the Roman to the medieval period, when Barcelona expanded as a maritime center linked to guilds, trade, and regional governance. After a brief passage through this section, I exit the museum and return to the historical core. Leaving the old city, the route transitions into the modern fabric. Palau de la Música Catalana marks the cultural layer of the contemporary Barcelona. I continue toward the Arc de Triomphe, a civic gateway that connects the historical core to the park system of Ciutadella and to institutions that developed in the 19th and 20th centuries. Further along stands the Castle of the Three Dragons, associated with exhibitions and science rather than fortification. I enter the Elborn Centre de Cultura y Memoria, housed in a former market hall near the port. Beneath the structure, archaeological remains reveal an entire neighborhood preserved at ground level. This layer exposes Barcelona as a living city built directly over its earlier urban fabric. The streets around Elborn reflect an older connection between the city and the sea. Santa Maria del Mar stands as part of this maritime layer, historically linked to trade and the port. Nearby, the streets shift into a cultural layer of the 20th century. I passed the Picasso Museum only from the exterior without entering. Some of the local layers, including the Cathedral Santa Maria del Mar and the Picasso Museum, extend deeper than shown here. Related videos are linked in the description. From here, the movement shifts toward the waterfront. The route leaves the historical core and enters the port zone, where the city meets the Mediterranean. The aquarium marks a contemporary layer of this interface. I continue toward Mare Magnum, a modern node at the edge of the waterfront. Unlike the elevated view from the Montjuic in the previous episode, the Mediterranean now appears at ground level, at the point of contact between urban space and the water. I reach the shoreline and pause briefly before continuing. So here I am. Finally, I reached the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. From here, I'm leaving the Iberian Peninsula and my route proceeds further to northeast on the Mediterranean coast. I'm not going to cross the sea, but I'm just going to follow the coastline to northeast and eastward. I will leave Spain and I will enter France. But there's still some section of the route before I cross the border with France. So let's go. The port reveals the Mediterranean as an active system, with vessels and ferries moving through the basin. The pedestrian bridge reopens for foot traffic after a brief interruption, and movement continues along the waterfront. With Barcelona completed, the route continues along the Mediterranean coast. The last point in Barcelona is the Columbus Monument, a reminder that this city has long faced the sea not only as a port, but as a point of departure toward the wider world. So subscribe to Journey Beyond the Horizon.